Yeah, you go to camera, and then I'll say, all right, and here we have a bracket for the compet, and I guide you through it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ACS Drift. We're here at a pop-up competition similar to last week, or actually a couple weeks ago. You guys heard me before. My name is Jonathan Tiny Warbe. I am the voice of ACS Drift, but you've probably known me from Virtual Drift Masters, as well as US Drift Circuit, the Pro-Am series of the Formula Drift in Florida. And here we are. We're having a great event right now. We're gonna have the bracket coming up. We have two buy runs starting off. We're just gonna go back to back, but first we're gonna get this situated. You see the bracket right here, sponsored by the Sim HQ, or actually partnered with Sim HQ and Drift HQ, as well as Geronimo Designs. This is a layout that Geronimo made probably right after, I'm assuming is right after, I remember driving it, OSW, when we did that actually legendary trailer of OSW on the Instagram. If you haven't followed ACS on Instagram, definitely check them out. There's a lot of cool stuff there. But right now we have our buy runs going on, and I see the chat, and we're gonna be doing it like last time. The more interaction with chat, the more people talking in chat, I'm going to be vibing off of you guys, because that's what a sim community does. We not only have a great competition, great announcers, great possibilities, but also you guys make the drift community. There's 150,000 plus members for ACS Drift, and I'm super excited to be a part of this community. Come in here and shoot the breeze with everybody. But now we have the first buy run going on, and we're gonna get them back to back. While I'm going through this, or while they're going through the buy runs, this little story about how they're going to get judged on drifting. You see the first car, the lead car, is going to go through a chicane after the lights go off, and then they have zones they have to fill out. You see the back tires, well, that looked like he was going to smoke the wall. We're not going to talk about that, but with connection errors, there is some issues on the sim world with that compared to real life, but they have to go through each zone. They have to put their tires in the certain zones that they want and then fill it all the way out. As they're going through each zone, they're trying to get a 100-point line. All right, so make sure that they complete it as best as possible, and then they have the finish line. That's the lead car's job. The chase car, their job is to use that lead car as a moving clipping point, so I guess close proximity as possible to the lead driver and get a really good chase run and be able to win the competition. Now, after the first lap, they switch sides. You have a lead driver. Now he's going to be going on the chase, waiting for the lights to chase down that lead driver. Now, we're going through everything in this bracket. That was the first buy run that went through. So he's going to be moving on to the top 16. But with every drift competition, the judges are going to be determining line, speed, angle, and their X factor. So if you're not familiar with drifting, I am here to guide you through this journey. I'm super excited with this bracket. I'm excited to see the community come all together. Now, I do have to tell you guys that we have ACSDrift.com. If you go there, if you've never been in sim drifting or wants to get involved with sim drifting, check out their website and we'll get everything sorted out. Like they have walkthroughs, they have a shop where you could get ACSDrift.com/shop where you could get some merch to support the community, as well as they're doing a giveaway. 150K follow community. Words are hard. 150K members giveaway. It ends in 8 days. There's 617 entries. First prize gets the SimMagic Evo Sport wheelbase. Second place gets the SimMagic handbrake, and third place we have the SimMagic gloves. And right there, you saw the second buy run. Now we're gonna get right into the battles. And now I'm looking at the chat. We're getting ready. Our lead is going to be Isaac and Autry versus Masco. Masco is a mod in ACS. Awesome kid. He's definitely a dope driver. Definitely gets a lot of laughs in the voice chat. But here we go. We got our first battle going on. You got Isaac in the lead, coming in with a nice initiation, going to that first outer zone. Look at Masco trying to reel him in by shallowing up the line so he could get into the pocket, transitioning to that second outer zone. Now going to the third outer zone. Look at Masco keeping it door to door, but the lead driver is keeping a shallow fill out on that outer zone. Now getting a nice and deep fill out, looking like he is dropping a tire on that rumble strip, going all the way through to the final two zones. You have the inner clip, the front tires have to be there, and the front bumper, and then that final outer zone there. Masco did a great job in the chase. Got our first battle going on. You got Isaac in the lead play here, coming in with a nice initiation, going to that first outer zone. Look at Masco trying to reel him in by shallowing up the line so he can get into the pocket transition with him, and now he is dialed in, reeling him in the pocket, staying right there in the zone, following that lead car. This is exactly what you want to do. He was a little bit lost in the smoke a little bit, but now able to dive right back in. A little tire drop on that dirt. You see the dirt kick up as they're going all the way around and filling it out. Masco did a great job mirroring that chase. Here we go. We got the second lap of this run. Masco in the lead. Let's see how we get this run going. The second half of this battle. And we have them running up. Masco in that BMW coming in with a nice initiation, being nice and deep in that first outer zone, transitioning to that outer touch and go. Beautiful fill out. And he's using that whole track. Oh, mercy. Running that outer line all the way through, transitioning into the third outer zone. Nice fill out, staying in track, and Isaac is doing a good job mirroring the lead driver. Masco shallowing up angle so he can hit that inner clip and angling up on that final outer zone. Great job, Masco, on that lead run. And now we're gonna have the judges deliberate off of this. You're gonna have three judges. Drifting is a judge motorsport, and they get to choose who they thought did better on both of the laps, and they're gonna figure out the winner out of that. Masco did a fantastic job filling out each zone, doing what he needed to do to continue on. And my goodness, that was beautiful with that BMW. Masco also is a modder in the community. He does some car mods. If you follow his social media pages, you can check him out. Does awesome on that. And it looks like we're getting the judge's decision right now. Right for Masco, left for Isaac. And one for Masco. Two for Masco. And one for Isaac. Split decision, but Masco gets to win and moves on. Great job for Masco. He's going to be in the top 16. And now we have our next battle here. You have Nojas Martisius. Man, you gotta tell me how I say that last name. Versus Wayne. We got Nojas in the lead versus Wayne in the chase. Wayne's going to be in a Ford Mustang from what we see over here underneath the gate. Waiting for the lights from the track general. We have Muschetti over there running the drivers. And here we go. No, just coming in with a shallow initiation, keeping it mid-line on that first outer zone, going to the outer touch go one. Great job using the whole track. That Mustang is trying to reel him in as No Just is getting all of that outer zone too. And then it looks like he is using a little bit too shallow of an angle, carries momentum offline, gets a possible 2-tire drop in the lead. And then the Mustang just zeroes out. It looks like he stalled out and just straight drove through the final zone. But now we're going to have them switch sides. You got these guys running here. Let's see what happens here. Like, you got No Just coming in. I don't think he was expecting to weight transfer as much, and he had to keep himself in a shallow angle going through, and he goes in and fills out outer zone 2 really well, transitioning to outer zone 3, and he just didn't have that back end kicked out enough. And then it looks like it was a hard chase from that Mustang. So that's what they're going to be looking at, and the judges are going to be deliberating on that decision, figuring out what's going on. But I see a first-time chats in the Twitch. Wiser one of the admins here. He's also one of the judges. I need a doors emote. Well, Pensive, I wish I had the artistic ability to make a doors emote. But here we go. The second half of the battle. A huge weight transfer initiation from Wayne as he is going through outer zone 1. Huge angle. Oh, my goodness. Oh, no. If he held it together, it would have been so awesome. He hits that wall. Makes contact with the wall. Let's see how he fills out outer zone 3 and does a good job going all the way through there, transitioning to that outer zone 4 and diving into inner clip 1 as they're going to the final lap. Man, that's a huge mistake of Wayne on that lead run with that contact on the wall, but he still was in drift. So this is where the judge is going to look at if it really caused a huge upset, if they were able to complete a lap. They're going to figure out left and right, but I see in the chat you guys are going back and forth, but it's judge's decision. Left for No Just, right for Wayne. And it looks like 1 for No Just, 2 for No Just, and 3. A unanimous decision. No Just gets the win. Well, we got to see him in the top 16. We're excited for that. We got the I need doors emote as D-Bag in here. D-Bag is probably on a date with his old lady. D-Bag and his lady are great people. We do have like annual get-togethers. We go to, that's the great thing about ACS. Like you'll see almost all the admins and one get together. We'll plan it out. Usually is OSW for Formula Drift, and we go there, we hang out, we have a good time, and we laugh and have the greatest memories from there. But there we go. You got the bracket here, top left. Cal Johnson is moving on, as well as the second. Oh, we're waiting for that to be filled out, populated. So Cal Johnson is going against the second guy that was doing the buy run. Masco is going to go against No Just. Next one, we have Cultures versus Ghost. And then Nick versus Devin Holland. And then going on to the right side of the bracket, you have a familiar face from the sim community on the right side. You have Will Holloway. He is a VDC driver. He's also a spotter in Formula Drift. Awesome. But I'm super excited to see him drive. It's been a while since I've been able to commentate him, but we got the chat going in. Damn, I wanted to talk smack to D-Bag. Everybody loves to talk smack to D-Bag over here. That's the nature of the game when you get to interact with him and the Discord. He's awesome. We have called the DOHC, Department of Homes I don't know. But we got the guys driving. Let's get it, boys, from Call. Appreciate you jumping into the stream and joining it. If you guys haven't seen on the Twitch feed, on the top of it is pinned the giveaway that we're doing for the community. And you have Austin here saying he doesn't believe he is lying to you. What's he lying to? Now I'm curious on this. Oh, he's got a Valentine's Day. That's the thing. Oh, it's Doc. Well, spelled Doc right then. Called it Doc. I need a doctor to correct my spelling. Oh, D-Bag would definitely ditch the boys with his lady. And that's respectable. I respect him for that. D-Bag, I hope you give me a box of chocolates when you see me at OSW. Anyway, we have the bracket already filled out. Jeremy is going to be going against Kyle Johnson. And it's going to be Cultures versus Ghost now. The Jeremy versus Kyle Johnson is the top 16 on the top left. I was explaining. Rock out with your doc out. That is wild. And overall, we seen this, the bracket, how it moves. They'll go from top left down, and then we'll move to the right side. We'll go top right down, and then it's the same way going through. You got the top 16, grade 8, final 4, and then the finals, which will be battle to get in the podium, the battle of third place, and the battle of first and second. So not only do we have to worry about podiums here or anywhere else, you also got the podiums in the Olympics that's going on right now, the Winter Olympics. I haven't been following it, but I love watching the highlights, especially the luge. It's freaking awesome to watch. But with you guys in here, what are you guys excited for this year? Year started off with a bang, with a lot of pop culture references and everything like that. But let's talk about gaming as well, because we're on the sim. What is something you're looking forward to on the sim wise? If someone wants to create a map, if you know people are going to be creating a map, racing games, or even regular games that are coming out, or movies. We have a lot of people in the Discord that not only they come in here for the drifting, they end up becoming good friends and they start playing games together. I know me and the mods, we like to play PGA once in a while and talk smack to each other just for the laughs. But I know other people like to hang out and play other games. Now we're getting ready for the drivers to join in and get sorted out here at Obera, riding through the track. That was a track that Geronimo built, and just out of curiosity, if he could do a nice line from the last time when I talked to him about it, he was like, "Oh, this looks like a fun comp line," and he started building it and getting lines out there and getting it situated. And then we have guys in our Discord that we have them test the track, see if it flows right, if it makes sense. We have Austin in here. I'm really looking forward to the new Silent Hill game coming out early next year. That definitely, I've played Silent Hill when it was in PlayStation, and that's the last time I played Silent Hill. I'm super excited for it too. One of my favorite horror games, and the new Forza game coming in May. And not only with the new Forza game, they have James Dean's car is going to be going in there. It was pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. I'm excited for it. I'm about it. I'm over here sipping on my energy drink at 7:30 at night, and we're waiting for the drivers to get locked in and situated. Your girlfriend is making me steak. Why is it we know you don't have a girlfriend? So we have the guys come up here and doing some warm up laps. You're gonna see them ripping through it. Um, Coming in, you see it, the RX-7 smoking the wall, but all these packs, the car packs that we're using, it's the VDC car pack. VDC is the Pro Series for the sim. A lot of good drivers in there. Some of them actually FD drivers that they use it for practice before doing competition, so they get seat time on different tracks. It's cheaper to drive on a sim than driving IRL for sure. But some of the drivers, you have Christian Controne teaming up with Matt Field this year. And Christian Controne had a VDC Pro as his spotter, which it's cool to see the sim crossing over to the real world. But it looks like we are ready for our first battle. You got Cultures in the lead, and Ghost is going to be in the chase. This is bottom half of the left side of the bracket. You got Cultures coming in with the RX-7, and Ghost is just straight line driving. Wasn't expecting that crazy flick from Cultures, as Cultures is going through each zone, trying to fill it all the way out. Huge angle from that RX-7. Huge angle. That was almost over-rotated as he is going through that outer zone 3. But great job of continuing on, saving the drift. This is where it comes into, was this a predictable lead lap from that driver the judge is going to look at? We're seeing here. I wonder what happened on that initiation. You got that weight transfer coming in. Bang. Oh, he Ghost initiated in a point where he was moving too fast and he had to straighten out. So that's what it looked like from the camera angle here. We have the judges having other camera angles as well. So we'll see what the judges determine after the second half battle here. You see Cultures. I did state about the over rotation on outer zone 3, but we have Cultures with the lights on that RX-7. Ghost is going to be in the lead. You got Bossman Blake, first time chatter, saying, "Go Timmy." I'm not too sure who you're talking about with Timmy, but here we go. We have Ghost in the lead, coming in with a nice initiation, going to that first outer zone, able to fill it all the way out, transitioning into that first outer touch and go. Beautiful. Look at Cultures surging into the pocket, using a little bit of a shallower line to keep up the proximity, transitioning and making some contact with Ghost on outer zone 3. And then transitioning to the second outer touch and go all the way into this inner clip. Beautiful fill out from Ghost on the lead lap. And Cultures being super aggressive with that RX-7. Beautiful. That was a good run, a good warrior battle there. You see Ghost coming in with a nice weight transfer, a Scandi flick going into that first outer zone, then transitioning to the outer touch and go 1. Great fill out. He wasn't as far out on the line using all of the track, which is a big portion, but it does look like Cultures make contact into that touch and go and outer zone, but he did keep a close proximity on it. And it looks like judges have made a decision. Right for Ghost, left for Cultures. 1 for Cultures. 2 for Cultures. And 3. It looks like ACS Cultures does get the win. And from what I was seeing, why they probably judged that, it was that initiation from the chase from Ghost, which, you know, huge mistake. If you're gonna initiate, you want to follow that lead card the whole way, so you can initiate, and follow that line. But Tim, right side of the board, gotcha. Here we go. We got Nick in the lead, Devin Holland in the chase, and it looks like, what is going on? It looks like Devin Allen jump started. I'm going to see that replay again, but now we have a battle. Oh my goodness. Nick smacked that wall and reset it. That's going to be deemed a 0. Yeah, they're gonna switch sides here. Possible rerun, maybe. Maybe the lights. Someone jumped the line. That's what happened. That's where it comes into it. I'll get a. Oh my god, he hit the cone again. All right, Nick, get it together, man. Smacking the cone. Poor guy. Those cones are brutal. But take it. Nick is gonna go. Man, this is pretty funny to watch. Oh, we got Nick. Nick in the lead. And we have Devon in the chase. We're having a rerun. There you go. He got through the cones. Let's see if you could get through the track, able to hit the first outer zone, and now to touch go one. Great fill out. As you have Nick coming out here, dropping the tire on outer zone 2, and then transitioning to outer zone 3. Great job. And look at Devon Holland giving the pressure all the way through and just putting that front tire onto the door of Nick. And Nick is, oh, huge correction, huge bobble on that inner clip. As he finishes off the lap, he still was in drift while he made that correction. But look at Devon Holland keeping his composure with that Corvette, coming in here, giving him some room on the first outer zone, making sure you could fill out each zone. And then he's just reeling in the proximity. Great job as a chase driver. You see Nick tire dropping a little bit on there. Then transitioning, and then that transition was super tight, and it forced Devon to slow down just a little bit, give him even more room to transition. But it looks like Nick slowed up a little bit, was a little worried that he wasn't going to stay in track on that inner clip, but we're going to have them switch sides. You have Nick in the chase now, Devon Holland in the lead. And we're going to wait for those lights. Usually on some tracks, we have a light or a camera right next to the light, so you guys see what's going on. But here is the initiation, a really shaky initiation, looking like he was fishtailing a little bit. But going to outer touch and go 1, beautiful fill out, going to outer zone 2. Oh, tire drop throughout the whole zone as they're going to outer zone 3. Another tire drop there. Nick is doing a good job just following him along and being able to get right there. Oh my goodness, another tire drop on that inner clip from Devon. Very sloppy lead run from Devon Holland, but no less a lead run. As you see him coming into his initiation, I don't even know if he hit that initiation point. So before the first turn, there is a line. That's the last able area. So you have to be in drift before you cross that line. So it looks like it was a big struggle, and it was huge correction. All right, slide it left for Nick, slide it right for Devon. 1 for Nick, 1 for Devon, 2 for Nick. Nick moves on with a split decision. Great battle from both of them. A lot of mistakes from them that Nick is going to have to clean it up before the top 16. And now we have our next battle come in here. Towards the end of the left side of the bracket. And it looks like we have a Supra. Is that a Supra? On the right-hand side, Chase. And that's Wreck-It. You got Funds in the lead. Let's see what Funds does. You know, words are hard. Second language. Not really. English is my first language. Spanish is my second language. Here we go. Funds in the lead. Wreck-It in the chase. Funds coming in with a nice initiation. 2 Supras, different generations as they're going through this track in Obera, designed by Geronimo Designs, as they're going to Outer Zone 2. Great fill out from Funds in the lead as they're transitioning to Outer Zone 3. Great angle, great momentum, a little bit of sawing at the wheel on that outer zone from what I'm seeing. But man, that's a fluid line. Looks like a little bit of a tire drop from Wreck-It in the chase. Now we're going to have them switching sides. Look at this lead lap here. Great job coming in. Nice weight transfer initiation. Keeping a mid to deep line for the first outer zone. Transitioning to outer touch and go. Great smooth angling up all the way through the zone. Flirting with the out of bounds on that outer line. And then transitioning into outer zone 3. Able to fill it all the way out. Transition to the outer touch and go 2. Great job. And then you see the fluid momentum going all the way through that inner clip in the final outer zone. And now we have the second half of this battle. And I see Maya first time chatting in there saying, "Wreck-It!" with clapping hands emojis. Or Mia. Maya or Mia? Because I'm thinking of the 90s hip hop artist. Anyway, we got Wreck-It in the lead. The 80 Supra coming in with a nice initiation. And Wreck-It is doing a good job filling it all the way through. Funds is trying to keep close proximity the whole way. Shallow line, or a shallow angle, not line, as they're going to outer zone 2. Great job filling it out. Oh my goodness, that Supra became a weed whacker, getting the edge of that rumble strip, going through that outer touch and go 2. Good job able to get back into it. But man, oh man, that was a huge mistake from Wreck-It on the lead. Looking at this momentum here as they're going through, able to hit each lights, going into that outer touch and go 1. Good job on that line that he did. He was flirting with that outer line. He didn't really tire drop there. But this is where the big mistake from Wreck-It. Probably hit the grass a little bit. The grass is slippery for the feel wise on the sim. So as soon as you touch that back tire on that outer grass, you're going to be floating. You got left for Funds, right for Wreck-It. You got 1 for Wreck-It. 2 for Wreck-It. And 3 for Wreck-It. He gets the win and moves on. We're going to get the next battle. Nick is going to be in the lead. Nano is going to be in the chase now. We got Nick coming out here with a nice fill out on outer zone 1. Coming in with the outer touch and go 1. And filling all the way out on outer zone 2. Great job. Sorry, I was reading in the judge's decision before. Oh, some contact made, but Nick is able to fight through it, going all the way through. Inner clip. Good job with fighting through it, but that contact that Nano made him fall behind and possibly zero out his run. We're going to see this replay here, and I'm going to make a correction here. Wreck-It was the black A90 Supra from the previous battle. The names on the screen were a little off. You see Nick here, going back to this, Nick here is doing a good job filling out each zone. And it looks like a huge surge from Nano that made him make contact with Nick. But Nick, unfazed, able to get through each zone and lap. Good job on him. Nano is going to be in the lead now. Nick is going to be in the chase. We'll see how they perform here at Obera. If you guys haven't checked out the giveaway for ACSDrift, it's pinned on the top of the chat. And here comes a huge scanty flick from Nano in the lead with that S chassis. Going in to outer touch and go 1. Beautiful fill out. Oh my God, a huge contact as they're going through each zone. And great job on filling it all the way through. And outer touch and go too. Great fix right there, getting right there and getting momentum going to inner clip. Obera is a kind of difficult track with all the elevation changes. This is the second lap of the battle here. As you see it, Nano in the lead. And going into each zone, great job from Nano in the lead. And that inner clip. Man, no, Nano did a good job overall. But it looks like Nano did make contact previously. We're going to see it. Slide to left for Nick. Slide to right for Nano. One for Nick. Two for Nick. And three for Nick. Nick gets the win and moves on to the top 16. Great job on Nick. Great composure he had through. Would love to see it drift here, but today is not the day for you to move on. We'll see you on the next competition that happens here for ACS Drift. I have Bad Bunny like stuck in my head. And it will be no, no, no puedo dejar. Mm, 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 mhm. Here we go. We are back. We got Kyle Johnson and Jeremy D. Going to be battling it out. We got the tracks going on. This looks like some practice runs as they're going through each track and jumping in there. All right. We'll see how these guys go out here. I see Ghost in chat. Nano, you could have been me. My quick release wasn't fully connected and messed me up real bad. So look stupid out there. I wouldn't say that. It's all about getting stuff situated and getting yourself taken care of. But you're moving on. You're gonna be battling Wreck-It. We got on the right side of the bracket. You got Cody, Shank, and Ezroon. James versus Nicholas McElroy. Wagner versus Juz Logan. Colin versus Will Holloway, who is the VDC driver. Then you have Young versus Mechanic. Timmy versus Water. Jeremy versus S13. Garage versus Tyrese Jackson. You guys always load up. When they load up, they always do some laps so to kind of get a feel of the track, just figure out what they could do better, and they sometimes tandem with the other drivers that they're about to battle with. As we got the drivers coming in and feeling out. Y'all lucky Dan Chesno isn't in this. Yeah, you know what? Dan Chesno is always a legend in the ACS community. Been around for a long time. Mr. Dan Chesno. You see a lot of people in the chat. You guys have been in the sim community. What's your favorite track or car pack that you guys drift on here on in the sim community? Matsuri. Oh, the dock. I'm actually curious. Why'd you spell dock that way? Now I'm very, very curious. Mixed it. My brain hurts reading it. Usually when I read names, oh, dual overhead cam. That I get it. I get it. Did Bill Holloway run already? No, he did not. Chesno in the chat. saying they are lucky. All right, now we have our next battle. Getting ready. Looks like we're gonna have some buy runs too. Okay, I see that. Call the doc. That's awesome. That's awesome to know. And if you guys haven't checked out the ACS Drift Instagram, definitely check them out. Drop them a follow. Also, drop a follow on the Twitch. Trying to get the community not only on the Discord to move over to Twitch. Whenever we do live streams, we'll have some good times. I always enjoy doing commentary over some drifting. Gives me some good warm up. Give me some practice. I do have Fuel Fest coming in West Palm Beach and Tampa. I'll be at. So if you are a part of the sim community and you jump to Fuel Fest, stop by, say what's up. I've always have a good time when meeting sim drivers and people that are part of the community. I'll be announcing the U.S. Drift Circuit's drift area during that time. And now we have our first battle here. Cody versus Rooney. Easy Rooney. See if he gets in here and does some drifter Roonies. As Cody Shank is going in with that first outer zone really fast. Hitting that outer touch and go one. Great job using all of the track. Riding that outer wall to the outer zone two. Good. Fill out a little midline all the way through. Giving them some momentum. Huge angle and goes off track as he keeps it going through that outer zone three. As he is going to be finishing off his lap. Looking like he missed interclip. And gets across the line. Now we're going to have them switch sides. After this replay here, you're going to see Cody coming in really hot to that first outer zone. Transitions to that touch and go. A little bit of a e-brake pull to float himself out there. And getting right there. Now he has so much momentum carrying through. He transitioned and it just the back end snapped so hard that he had to fight the car all the way through that outer zone three. Then getting back in drift. He's still a little bit offline, but able to finish off this lap. I final outer touch and go. Here we go. We're having them switch sides. Easy Rune is in the lead. Cody Shank in the chase. And we are having the lights there. Let's see if Easy Rune comes in. Straight line initiation with that BMW. Hitting that first outer zone. Haven't seen that much in practice or in the competitions as they're going to outer touch and go one. A little bit of a flirty tire drop on that outer zone two. Then going to outer zone three. Looks like two tires on the rumble strip a little bit and some contact being made by Cody. Keeping that proximity really tight. Huge correction from the lead driver as they're hitting the final outer touch and go. Boom, 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 boom. Here we go. Nice initiation. Goes that first outer zone. Look at that angle. This is right to angle there. Not really crazy angle. Keeping his momentum alive. And then looks like a nice weight transfer to outer touch and go one. And looks like that tire drop was maybe one. It was hard to see from this angle. I have the same camera angle as you guys. But there was a correction on interclip. As we got left for Cody, right for Easy. Left one for Cody, two for Cody. And it looks like three for Cody. And now we're going to have a buy run going through. We have Wagner going to be doing his buy run. James and Nicholas did not show up, so Cody Shank is going to have a buy to the grade 8. And then he will be battling the winner of Colin versus Will Holloway afterwards. And Young has not battled yet, Dylan. So we have Wagner over here going in. Nice. Aggressive fill out with the RX-7. Nice. Consistent all the way through. Great line. Wish he was a little bit deeper on outer zone too, but this is a good lap from Wagner. Good warm up. So he's moving on to the top 16. As we're getting our next battle here. It's going to be Cullen versus Will Holloway. Will Holloway, a VDC driver. As we're getting through this bracket, we're going towards the bottom half of the bracket already. You have Will coming in with a huge initiation in the chase to keep proximity and slow himself down enough and getting right bumper to bumper with Colin. Colin doing a good job with the Chevy Corvette. Will Holloway reeling him in like an absolute gangster of a driver he is. A little bit, maybe a little bit of a contact. And then transitioning to outer touch and go. And into inner clip one. Great job. As they finished the lap. Here we go. They're going to see this initiation coming through. Nice. Great fill out. A little bit of shallow line from that Corvette. Hitting that outer touch and go. Oh man, that I don't know if that was contact or if it was just him really slow on transition. Got Will Holloway coming here. And Will Holloway in the lead. Coming in with a nice floaty initiation to that first outer zone with that RX-7. RX-7 going into that outer touch and go. Great job from Will. Beautiful angle. Using all of the track. The VDC Pro would. And going into outer zone 2. Great job filling that out. Transitioning to outer zone 3. Oh, my God. Almost hits the grass. And going into outer touch go 2. Great job from Will Holloway. And Colin sticking it to the door of Will Holloway. And a little bit of a bump at the end before the line. That was a fantastic lead lap from Will Holloway going in. Nice fill out, staying right to the outer portion of that zone. Full fill out on that zone. Hits the outer touch and go 1. Good job there. Getting right to the outer line of outer zone 3. And then transitioning to outer zone 4. Really, really fast. Getting all that momentum floating to everything. That was insane lead lap from Will Holloway. We're seeing the replay back to back. And Dylan, I believe you got Young going to be battling it out after this determination of this battle. Well, Holloway was a spotter for Kyle Mohan while he was in Formula Drift for a while. Also goes to Hot Pit Auto Fest in Cali often. And you got left for Colin, right for Will, 1 for Will, 2 for Will, and 3 for Will. Will gets the win and moves on. Great job, Will. Getting that. He is moving on to the top 16. And now Will Holloway will be battling out Wagner in the top 16. The next battle is Young versus Mechanic. – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – –– –– –– – –– –– –– ––––––––––––––––––––––––––––––––––––––––––––––––––––––––– – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – Putting it down on the track to see how he performs here. We're going to be switching servers or refreshing servers. So we get that sorted out. Now, it is Valentine's Day. Hope you guys got your special loved one a gift. If you haven't, go to acsdrift.com/shop. Get them a nice hoodie. Order one. Hook them up with a nice hoodie. It will give you the warmth and the love of the drift community, as well as giving them warmth and love throughout everywhere. And Wiser One is still pretending that he does have a girlfriend. Saying that he ordered stuff from Japan. We all know he orders stuff from Temu. Now we have Young. Young is my Valentine from Dylan. Well, that's cute. And well, you're supporting your Valentine here on this pop-up comp. See how he performs. Is this going to be like a Too Fast, Too Furious kind of scenario where Ja Rule yells, "Yeah, no, Monica," but instead of "No, Monica," it'll be "No, Young." That movie is so funny. I know a lot of lines from that movie. But here we go. We got Young in the lead. Dylan goes go Pookie. We have them doing some warm-up laps here. Got these guys with the VDC cars all the way through each zone, and like you can see here, you see a lot of elevation change. It's very uphill, and then it finishes off downhill towards the final inner clip, coming back downhill. It's a really it looks like a simple track, but it is technical with all the elevation changes. It's the feel of the track, trying to get yourself situated there. But now we're gonna have them get ready here shortly. See everybody loading up here. So with sim versus real life, usually in real life competition, you got guys in line getting ready to battle it out 3 or 4 battles before. With sim is a little bit different. It's loading up servers, getting back into it, making sure all your stuff is working. So on the sim, you'll have them load into a server, do like 1 or 2 practice laps, and then get situated there. We're waiting for the drivers to show up here. We do have a time limit. If they don't show up, then there's going to be there's going to be a DNF on the battle. Looks like it's going to be a buy run. And okay, it looks like Young is getting a buy run. He's going to be moving on to the top 16. Next battle after that will be Timmy and Water. You see Young over here with that S chassis going in, filling out each zone as best as possible, using this as a seat time, practice time to get ready for the final battle, or the next battle, not final battle, in the top 16. Oh, with a 360 at the end. Good job, Young. Good job filling out each zone. A great performance there. Now we have Timmy versus Water. Water. There's this clown at a state fair that would yell "water, water, water," and he was on the dunk tank. Every time when someone says water, I just think about that guy. Got Timmy in the lead and Water in the chase. Looks like Water wants to talk that smack into the driver's window of Timmy. Pulled up to the line on the left side of him. Here we go. Our next battle here. We're finishing off the top 32. We got two more battles after this. Waiting for the lights here. Here we go. Timmy in the lead. Coming in with a nice weight transfer initiation. Goes to that first outer zone. Able to keep a midline. Outer touch and go one. Great fill out. Water is getting left in the dust. Still active in the chase, but he is a lot of car lengths behind in that Evo as they're going through outer zone 3. Outer touch and go 2 is great by Tim as he is able to hit that inner clip and final outer zone. Great job from Tim in the lead. Water needs something to come out. Either Tim needs to zero out his run and Water have a fantastic lead lap, but no, there's a correction there from outer touch and go 1 to outer zone 2 from Tim, but I don't think that would make the chase driver fall back behind more. He was really far behind in general. But look in here, we have them switching sides. Water is in the lead. Tim is in the chase. Waiting for the lights and seeing them get off the line. And that chicane cones, the lead driver has to drive through. Drifting is not a drag racing sport. They're trying to get, wow, that's huge initiation from Water. Using all of the track as he is able to get to outer touch and go 1. Good fill out. Oh my God, tire drop on outer zone 2. I thought he was going to smoke that wall. When outer zone 3, huge correction from Water in the lead. As Tim is just following him along, giving him enough room, but then dialing in the proximity as best as possible as Water is missing inner clip 1 to the final outer zone. Looks like this might be a clear cut and dry. Judging from the panel here, got Water coming into their first outer zone, doing a good job hitting that outer touch and go 1. Great. That big mistake on outer zone 2. And then hitting that outer zone 3, a huge correction going in, like in the beginning of it. That is massive. Looks like left for Timmy, right for Water, 1 for Timmy Tim Tim, 2 for Timmy Tim Tim, and 3 from Timmy Tim Tim. He is getting the win and moving on to the top 16. Then you have our final 2 battles coming up. Jeremy V versus S13 Creo. Jeremy V is in the lead. Coming in with a nice initiation with that RX-7, going really deep into that zone as we're going to outer touch and go 1. Beautiful fill out there. Oh man, he is missing outer zone 2. That's big. That's a crucial mistake from the lead driver, Jeremy. But he's able to get back into outer zone 3, falls out of that zone early, going to outer touch and go 2. Great job. A little bit of a correction. Tire drops on the inside of the track, and he misses the final outer zone from Jeremy V. S13 Creo did a good job following the lead driver. He followed him the whole way, using him as a moving clipping point. And look at this. The great job on the first outer zone from Jeremy, Going to outer touch and go one. Great fill out there, but I don't think he had enough momentum. He angled too much, I believe, from outer touch and go one to outer zone two. So if he shallowed up a little bit of angle, it would make his car float out a little bit to outer zone two. That'll make him hit that zone. But right here, he has yet again the same issue. Too much angle. It shallows up that arc of drifting. So when you're looking at the track, you got to kind of imagine a line going through it, each zone where you want the car to be placed to make sure that the wheels are going in. And that arc was not right, especially with so much angle there. We have Jeremy V chasing down S13 Creo as he is going to that first outer zone. A little shallow fill out there. Hits outer touch and go one. Great job. And as you see, Creo getting right to outer zone two, being able to fill it all the way out, going to outer zone three. Nice fill out as well. Doing a good job. Falls out of the zone a little early so he could get to the outer touch and go two. Now he is angling up so he could flirt with inner clip. And then a final outer zone. Great lead lap from Creo, able to hit each zone. We'll see what the judges say here. Like I was saying before, if you're looking at Creo's line here, going into that first outer zone, he's able to flirt with that outer touch and go. He is shallowing up, angle going up the hill, and then angles up so he could get that arc right, and then transitions, gets right to angle, and flirts with that outer zone, falls out of that outer zone a little bit early. This battle here, that wasn't a big mistake for him, but in future battles, especially with tighter battles with these drifters, that could be a crucial mistake for him. Here we go. Left for Jeremy, right for Creo. One for Creo, two for Creo, and three for Creo. He is getting the win and moving on. And now we have DTF Garage versus Tyrese Jackson. Yes, DTF doesn't touch a Ford, but where we go, he's in a BMW in the chase or in the lead, getting to that first outer zone and hitting outer touch and go one. Great fill out there as he's going to outer zone two, all the way deep into outer zone two, transitioning to outer zone three. Huge angle from the chase driver, makes him fall behind a little bit, but able to dive right back into the pocket of the lead driver Garage as they're going to enter clip one in the final outer zone. Great battle from both of these drivers on this first lap. Yeah, Garage coming in here. He set himself up a little bit early on that outer zone. He was really deep, and that's what made him get a shallower line through that zone, but able to get into outer zone two. Good job there. Transitioning to outer zone three, gets out of that zone early so he can set himself up for the outer touch and go two. And able to get into that final outer zone. Now we have the switch sides. Tyrese is going to be in the lead. Garage in the chase. Here we go. Tyrese Jackson in the lead. Oh, contact before the initiation. And now the judges are going to look at that contact, see who was at fault. Yeah, it looks like he was coming in hot. And it looks like the judges have made a decision. One for Tyrese. One for Garage. And two for Tyrese. Tyrese gets the win and moves on. Great job from Tyrese. And now we're at the final battle. Oh, that was the final battle of the top 32. We're going to get ready for the top 16. We'll be back for a quick break. All right, we are back. Hopefully, everybody got their potty breaks in, got their snacks, their popcorn, their sodas, or what some weird people call it, pop. One of those weird people is called Primo, one of the mods of Discord for the ACS community. If you haven't checked out the website, ACSDrift.com, we do have a bunch of good things in there. You'll see the bracket usually in there, as well as you'll see the giveaway that we're doing for 150K members. You get a chance to win a Sim Magic Evo Sport Wheelbase, a handbrake for second place, and for third place, some gloves, Sim Magic. Right now we have 617, actually 619. Just refresh the page. And if you are checking out the shop, got some hoodies in there. Some E36, 350Z shirts and hoodies, as well as some JZX100 and S15 hoodies there. And get a shirt or a hoodie, rep it at a FD or any drift event. Now, if you check out the about page, you see about the drivers and all, not the drivers, the admins, the owners, as well as the admins and moderators in there. Check them out. Drop them a follow. Now, if you do have an issue with something going on the server, if you have a band or you have a question, we do have a ticket system in the Discord, as well as that guy needs a ticket from rolling across the track like that. Tiny hugs, people with ACS gear on in real life. I do give hugs. That's usually when I'm leaving somewhere. But we have Kyle Johnson versus Jeremy D. This is the first battle of the top 16. Let's see if Kyle Johnson does a good job here. He did have a buy run. These both had a buy run in the beginning in the top 32. Kyle Johnson going in there for the first outer zone. A little shallow, going to outer touch and go 1. Great job. In outer zone 2. And look at this Ford Mustang from Jeremy D. Holding in the proximity on outer zone 2. Following the lead driver everywhere he goes. Trying to mirror the angle as they're going to outer touch and go 2. Jeremy D scoots forward in the pocket, cheats the line a little bit so he could keep the proximity up there. But man, oh man, that was a good lead line from Kyle Johnson. Jeremy D doing a good job towards the back half of that battle. Looked like he failed to initiate a little bit on into the first outer zone. We're looking at this replay here. Second outer zone, flirting with that rumble strip. Going into outer touch and go 2. Good job. And then going into the final outer zone. Great fill out, great speed, great angle. Now we're having them switch sides. We have a first time chat. I will read that right after this half of this battle here. Coming in. Nice initiation. Jeremy D with that Ford Mustang going into that first outer zone. Transitioning to outer touch and go 1. Good fill out. And Jeremy D is trying to reel him in. Getting that nice wide line. Looks like Jeremy fell out of outer zone 2 a little too early. That forced him to go a tire or 2 off on outer zone 3. As we go into the final inner clip and outer zone. Good save from Jeremy D. And WTV said, I got money for it. I'm running a G9293. Well, there's always saving up for a sim rig. Then if you do want to get some sim stuff, you can go to Sim HQ, get some upgrades. But we also have the giveaway here going on. You could get a some magic wheel if you win first place. Some magic wheel base. Judges have come up to a decision. Left for Kyle, right for Jeremy. 1 for Kyle. 2 for Kyle. And 3 for Kyle. Kyle gets the win. Moves on to the grade 8. Now we have our young buck, Masco. He's going to be leading Nojas. Masco out here representing the ACS community as much as he can. Every competition he does. So mods cars, gets his cars ready for competition. And here he goes. This is that first outer zone. Great job from Masco as he's filling out outer zone 1. Hits that outer touch and go 1. And Masco using the whole track. Getting right that back tire right to the outer line. Going fantastic. Filling each zone out from Masco. Look at the great lead line. But look at Nojas. Knowing that he's predictable, getting right close proximity, a really shaky surge and chase from Nojas. Here we go. We see this run again. You see Masco doing a good job in the lead, and you see Nojas trying to read him, and he's understanding that Masco is a consistent driver. Now he's trying to get as close proximity as possible. He's doing a good job being fluid. A lot of corrections from the chase. And then you see him in outer zone 3. Good job there. Transition. Now he surges forward, and then he just keeps like diving in multiple times. If it was a little smoother, it would have been even more determining factor for Nojas, but it looks like might be a advantage for Masco from what I saw. Doing a great lead lap, giving him the opportunity to chase that door. But now we have them switching sides. Masco is going to be chasing down Nojas. Nojas, I'm going to have to look at the replay. It looks like he possibly tire dropped on initiation. But then going into outer zone 2, able to fill it all the way out. And Masco just reeling him in, being smooth with the wheel, getting right to the close proximity and getting right door to door with Nojas. Masco, the young buck, just reeling him in, falling a little bit behind on the inner clip, but then diving right back into the pocket. Masco getting doors, baby. Look at this. Yeah, what did he drop a tire? Oh yeah, he dropped a tire really bad on that first outer zone. That's a huge mistake. And going into outer zone 2, great job. He did a great job in the lead, a lot more than his chase. Not really sawing at the wheel, which is good. And judges have come to the decision. Left for Masco, right for Nojas. 1 for Masco, 2 for Masco, and a 3 for Masco. Masco gets the win. Moves on. We have our next battle here. Coming up, Cultures versus Nick. So for the beginning half of the grade 8, you got Kyle Johnson versus Masco. And now we have Cultures in the lead. Nick in the chase. See how they perform here. Coming in with a nice Scandi flick. Going to that first outer zone with that RX-7. Getting right in the deep line of the outer zone 1. And you see Nick a little bit shallow in line to reel in the proximity from that RX-7. That RX-7 is a rocket ship when you get it in the right hands. A little shallow to deep line from Cultures as they're going to outer zone 3. And to outer touch and go 2. Good fill out. And man, Cultures being super dialed in. A little bit of a correction towards the end, but overall the whole lap was fantastic from Cultures. Reading this here. Nice initiation, flirting with that outer line the whole way. And using all of the track as much as possible with that RX-7. You saw Nick cheating the line so he could hold the proximity all the way through And then a huge correction from Nick in the chase, cheating the line a little bit as well on outer zone 3. And then going into the inner clip, he angles up. Cultures does, so he could get to the final outer zone. And now we got the switching of sides. You have Nick in the lead. Cultures in the chase. Coming in with a nice initiation, but it looks like Cultures is zeroing out his run. Looks like Nick needs to complete this lap. Not too sure what happened there. Nick is just barely touching each zone as they're going into each final zone here. They're going to look at the replay here. Coming in, initiation, bang. Oh, yeah, Cultures didn't even initiate on his chase. He didn't initiate at the right point. That's a big mistake. And that's what happens with drifting. Just because you did good on one lap doesn't mean it's going to be a guaranteed win on the second lap if you're leading the first one. Got to complete both runs. And it looks like the judges have come to a decision. Right for Nick, left for Cultures. 1 for Nick. 2 for Nick. And 3 for Nick. Nick gets the win and moves on to the grade 8. We have 2 Nicks. And we have Wreck-It versus Nick. You have the Canadian Nick and the American Nick. Wreck-It is in the lead. Going to that first outer zone. Great job filling it all the way out. Then going to outer touch and go 1. Good job hitting that zone with that 80 super. And as he's going to outer zone 2, filling it all the way through to the third outer zone. Great fill out, lighting off those tires, making sure the smoke is good. And Nick is doing a great job in the chase. A little bit hesitant on that transition from that to that second outer touch and go. And now going into the final outer zone. Great lead lap and chase from Nick. Coming in with nice initiation. Nick was far behind as they're going into outer touch and go 1. Good fill out there from the lead driver. Nick is transitioning late, and that's what I'm seeing. It looks like he's from the outer touch and go to, or not outer touch and go to, from outer zone 2 to 3. He transitions a tad bit later than Wreck-It. So here we go. Nick is in the lead. Wreck is in the chase. And Nick is getting a shallow line on first outer zone and outer touch go 1. Now he's trying to float into outer zone 2. Does a great job. Falls out of the zone a little bit early. And then goes to outer zone 3. A huge correction from Nick. Oh, no. Then another correction on transition from Nick as they're going to enter clip. And then the final touch and go. That was big mistakes from Nick. And you see him going here. Great fill out. And then towards the end, you're going to see the big mistakes here. Look at Nick. Oh, he saw it at the wheel, trying to correct. He almost understeered out of that zone. Big mistakes from the lead driver there. All right. Slide to left for Wreck-It. Slide to right for Nick. 1 for Wreck-It. 1 for Nick. And 2 for Wreck-It. Wreck-It gets the win and moves on to the grade 8. And now you have how many Nicks we have? Jeez. On the left side of the bracket, you have Kyle Johnson versus Masco for the grade 8. Nick versus Wreck-It again, but a different Nick. And now we're on the right side of the bracket for the top 16. You got Cody Shock, Nicholas McElroy, Wagner versus Will Holloway, Young versus Timmy Tim Tim, Creo versus Tyrese Jackson. We're gonna have them load up into the servers and get sorted out. We got people in the chat. I hope you're getting excited for your drivers. If you guys are rooting for a driver, type it in chat. Give a thumbs up for them, or say I'm for this guy because it's my Valentine. I know some of you guys are doing that. It is Valentine's Day, so I respect it. Go Nick, that's my little bro. Well, big bro cheering on for little bro. That's awesome to see, even if they're not blood related. But there's 3 Nicks. Oh, this is actually a buy run. Cody Shunk is getting a buy run because James and Nicholas did not show up. So Cody gets a bye to the grade 8. That Kyle guy can't drive. Well, that's not nice to say. Young can though, yeah. And we got, not only is these the drift competitions happening, you still got people in the Discord running some laps on the sim, which is cool to see. But here you have the bracket. You have the Sim HQ, Drift HQ, and Geronimo Designs on the bottom. Sim HQ is with Drift HQ, but Sim HQ is partnered with ACS. That's why you see that flash screen every time you go to an ACS server. And not only with ACS being out here, being the biggest communities for drifting, over 150,000 members. Let's see if I can find the numbers. 152,307 members in the ACS Drift Discord. That's insane. Remember when I started out here, it was like 10K. It was fun. It was a fun time. Still a fun time with all the people. So got the original guys that been around since day one, from the growth. Arian as Geronimo, and PJ, known them for since I first jumped on the setup. So cool to see them grow. PJ's always the handsome one in the Discord, so big shout out to him. Shout out to D-Bag. Yeah, D-Bag's another original guy that he's funny. I've known him for a long time. And the ACS is actually where I got my start for commentating and helped me grow to where I'm at now. Still want to grow further. We used to do coffee times in the morning. We would just sit there and hang out, talk about previous rounds or competitions. FPSG wants me for president. I do not want to be the president at all. That's too much responsibilities. It looks like this is a buy run for Cody, as Cody is going through each zone. Cody getting every inch of the track, doing his buy run, letting his BMW scream. And the BMW, I think that's either Jacu Bellis's livery, old livery. I'm not too sure. I can't see the nameplate, but Jakku and Darius Austriaca are both VDC drivers. Great drivers from Europe. Awesome people as well. Jakku Bellis usually has Jakku on the back of his livery or somewhere on his livery. Nickname I gave him. And doing some great thing. You have Artem Chokov as well, doing another VDC driver sim. He did his competition, I want to say a couple weeks back, it was so cool to see that comp. It was all in rain. It's a skid pad kind of feeling, but he actually battled against Paul Korpelinski, a Drift Masters driver. It's awesome. We have now our battle here. Wagner versus Will Holloway. Will Holloway is going to be chasing down Wagner. It's Wagner coming in with an initiation. You got an RX-7 on RX-7 battle here. As that red RX-7 is Wagner going to that first outer zone. And you have Will Holloway right there putting it to the door of Wagner. Front tire is real close. Oh man, that rear tire almost went into the grass. That was a great job from Wagner filling that zone out. But Will Holloway is very composed with his car, that RX-7. He does compete in it in VDC, so that's home for him. As you see this battle here. Coming in, nice initiation. It's just Will is so that's comfort zone right there. Like right on initiation, he had a lot of angle in the chase, and then he shallows up angle so he could reel in proximity, transition, good, and then shallowing up angle when he gets close, feels comfortable, giving some room on that transition, and then diving right back into the pocket. Great chase job from Will. Now Wagner doing a good job in the lead, doing a really good aggressive run. And here we go, the second half of this battle. Will Holloway is now leading Wagner. Wagner is going to have to chase down this pro driver. Will Holloway coming in with a smooth initiation. Goes to that first outer zone. Wagner cheats the line a little bit so he can hold the proximity. And then going into outer zone 2 is going to be, oh my God, it's insane from Will Holloway. Really floaty, getting right there, smooth, transitioning to outer zone 3. Great job filling that all the way out. And you see Wagner, a little bit of a, oh my God, he almost smacked the living dog out of Will. But man, he is able to save the contact right there. That was a really sketchy chase run from Wagner. And you got him right here. Will go inside first outer zone. Bang. Hits it all the way up. Right there to outer zone 2. Able to get right on that outer line. Then diving in to outer zone 3. They drop a tire on that zone, but it was really smooth all the way through. A really good chaseable run from Will Holloway. Now, the judges have come to a decision. Sliding left for Wagner, right for Will. 1 for Will, 2 for Will, and 3 for Will. Will gets the win and moves on. And now we have the second. We have our next battle. You have Young versus Timmy Tim Tim. Young Romarin is in the lead going into that first outer zone. Able to fill it out in the outer touch go 1. Great job. Going to outer zone 2. Able to hit right to that pocket using that left foot brake to dab it in and get himself settled. Going to outer zone 3. Good fill out from the S chassis from Young as he is going all the way through. Beautiful lead lap from Young, and Timmy Tim Tim is just bathed in the tire smoke from Young. Here we go. We have this replay here as Timmy Tim Tim is chasing down Young Ramirez. Young does a good job filling out each zone, getting right to angled on each zone, filling it all the way through. And look at how Timmy Tim Tim just got bathed. I just read that comment from Dylan. I'm not going to say it out loud. Here we go. Second half of the battle. Timmy Tim Tim is in the lead. Young Ramirez in the chase. As Timmy Tim Tim coming into that first outer zone, keeping a shell line, going deep to outer zone 1, transitioning to outer touch and go 1. Beautiful fill out, huge angle, and then a correction from the lead driver going to outer zone 2. Able to keep a mid line all the way through that zone. Outer zone 3, transition is buttery smooth, using that back line as a guide all the way through to outer touch and go 2. Able to get right there. Look at Timmy Tim Tim doing a great job in the lead, and Young Ramirez is holding the proximity all the way through that lap. Young doing a good job in the way he attacked this. Went shallow angle on that first outer zone so he could guide where he needs to place the car as they're going to outer touch go 2 to or outer touch go 1 to outer zone 2. Young did shallow up line to read if Timmy Tim Tim was going to smoke that wall, but Timmy Tim Tim angled up and going to outer zone 2. But after that, it was just smooth sailing for Young Ramirez and the chase. And Young Ramirez is on the left. Timmy Tim Tim is on the right. 1 for Young, 2 for Young, and 3 for Young. He gets the win and moves on. So on the right side of the bracket, you got Cody Shank versus Will Holloway. Young Ramirez is just figuring out after this battle who he's going to be battling out. You have the battle of S13 Creo versus Tyrese Jackson. And Tyrese Jackson is going to be chasing him down first. Creo in the lead. Oh, well, that was oh no, that's a huge mistake from Creo. That's going to be an automatic 0. He just, yeah, that's an unfortunate case there. Didn't initiate, straight down to outer zone 1, and then just smoked the wall after that. Unfortunate, but hey, it happens. It's a part of the game sometimes, and that's I feel terrible whenever a driver has that. Now we have Tyrese. Tyrese needs to complete this lap. Tyrese has to make a chaseable lead lap to move on. He does have a huge advantage here. He's waiting for the lights. Tyrese coming in with a nice initiation, going to that first outer zone, keeping the mid to deep line on outer zone 1, and to outer touch and go 1, huge angle, and massaging the angle so he can add to outer zone 2. Able to hit that, going to outer zone 3. Beautiful transition, going all the way through, and then to the final 3 outer zones. Great fill out there. Oh, a correction from Tyrese, but able to angle up and get back into the fight. And it looks like this is going to be a clear, decisive winner here from the judges. They already came with a decision. 1 for Tyrese, 2 for Tyrese, and 3 for Tyrese. And that is a victory for Tyrese. He is moving on to the grade 8. And I see in chat, Creo said his turbo was set for 0 on the first run. That is unfortunate for you, my man. But now we have the grade 8 battle starting up. You see the bracket here going to be showing up possibly while these guys are loading. You got Kyle Johnson on the left versus Masco. Nick versus Wreckit on the left, bottom left. So the winner of these battles will move on to the final 4. After the final 4, the winner moves on to the battle of first and second, and the loser battles on for the battle for third. get these guys moving. Chat, what are you guys thinking about these battles coming up? Who do you think is going to take it away? Who do you think will be in the final battles? What are you guys? Who are you guys voting for? Like rooting for? Like you gotta have that energy for some people. Some people like Chi would blame that he's busy instead of having fun with us. You got D-Bag abandoning us so he could go on a date with his girlfriend. And you have Weiser pretending he has a girlfriend. So we all got our flaws. It's okay. We got Dozer, first time chatter, saying, "Let's go, Kyle." Hey, Kyle got a tough battle going against Masco. Masco has been competing on the sim for a while. He's a younger generation drifter. Then you have Dylan going, "Let's go, Young." He's got a battle with he's got a battle with dude, Dylan threw me off with that comment. Wait, D-Bag likes girls this whole time? Yes, he does. Now we have our next battle here. Kyle Johnson versus Masco. Grade 8 battle here. As Kyle Johnson goes to that first outer zone, Masco falls behind. This is very uncharacteristic of him. Let's see if he'll reel him in. As Kyle Johnson is keeping a shallow line into the first outer zone and then transitioning to outer zone 3. Oh, a little bit of a tire drop there going on the rumble strip. We'll see if Masco is going to capitalize on this, surging into the pocket, right into the inner clip, getting right to the door of Kyle Johnson as they're finishing off this lap. This is a good initiation going into that first outer zone. Then transitioning into outer touch and go 1. Then a little bit late on outer zone 2. Then going into outer zone 3, a little bit of a tire drop on the rumble strip, and then the final 3 outer zones doing a great job. Masco capitalizing on everything to dive into the pocket. Now we have Masco in the lead. Let's see if this young buck can get it sorted out. Masco going through the cones. Coming in with a nice initiation to the first outer zone. A little bit of an e-brake pull. Going to outer zone 1, transitioning to outer touch and go 1. Good fill out there, using all of the track. Masco with that BMW is being an absolute savage as he is going to outer zone 3, getting right to angle and getting all of that zone. Transitioning to outer touch and go 2. Great job, Masco in the lead, being smooth all the way through. A little bit of a bobble, preparing himself for that dip. And man, Masco is on rails today. Look at that. Masco going into outer zone 1. A little bit of a dab of the e-brake as he is going in there. Saw the rear tire stop a little bit. And then you have him going to outer zone 2. And then transitioning to outer zone 3. And then just lighting off those tires, angling it up a little bit so he could get himself set up for outer touch and go 2 to inner clip 1. Great run from Masco. And we have left for Kyle Johnson, right for Masco, 1 for Masco, 2 for Masco, and 1 for Kyle Johnson. Masco gets the win and moves on to the final 4. And now he's getting prepared to see who he's going to battle it out against. And we have Nick versus Wrecked on the bottom left. We have Cody Shunk on the top right and Will Holloway. And then Young versus Tyrese. At least Weiser had faith. That's funny. Now we having the drivers get situated here. So for the winner, they will get a chance for this competition of $50 for the winner. That's awesome. That's awesome. A little bit of money there. $50 will get you a quarter tank of gas right now, especially if you live in Cali. Am I right? Yeah, my production, like, Arian's doing production. He was laughing. He said, "Yeah." Dylan says half a carton of eggs. Man, I I remember when you could spend $50 and go to a baseball game and get good seats. That's probably dating myself. Like I would go to like a Yankees game when the old Yankee Stadium, like 50, $60. Get good seats, not nosebleeds. And then saying we old. Well, the great thing too is I did I like I said, I've been with the community for a long time and I've been hopping in and out. I've been busy with the season coming up, especially the season starting with Fuel Fest in Florida. I'm gonna do a lot more IRL events compared to Sim. But I do like popping into Sim, getting my reps in. But with the ACS community, we used to have coffee time, and I'm going to be bringing that back here um, in the near future. In 3 weeks, I will be doing some coffee time with Tiny, and basically, I'll be talking about the behind the scenes stuff. So, Fuel Fest happens, and then that next Thursday, I'll be talking about what was happening behind the scenes. You guys have questions, whatever it is, and explain. It'll be like a 90-minute show. It'll be fun. Then the last 30 minutes, we'll probably play video games. But it'll be here on Twitch and on YouTube. Have a good time there. And then talk about a lot of it is drifting related. So if it's a FD weekend, I'll talk about the FD event. If you guys are interested in it. And if you guys don't have, if you're not familiar with drifting and you want to bring someone along with drifting, that's a good spot to kind of ask questions about drifting, and I'll explain stuff too. So here we go. We got our next battle coming up here. Yeah, Nick versus Wreck-It. Wreck-It is going to be in the chase. Nick's going to be in the lead. We have Nick leading it out here, coming in with that 890 Supra. A huge correction in that first outer zone. Going to outer touch and go one. Great job there. I don't know if he actually touched that outer touch and go. He's very shallow in line throughout this whole track. Going into outer zone 2. He's keeping a mid line in outer zone 3. Now going to that outer touch and go 2. Good fill out there. And you see that 880 Supra just trying to follow his line, mirroring him all the way through. Great job from him. See this replay here as we see Nick going into that first outer zone. He gets a deep line, but then that arc I was talking about earlier, that arc made him fall out of line, just how the car was moving. And then going into outer zone 3, he was starting to keep a deeper line. And then outer touch and go 2 does a good job putting that back tires where it needs to be. Don't know if he fully committed on that inner clip, but we'll see the next half of this battle here. Next half of this battle. Wreck-It is in the lead. Coming in with a very shallow initiation. I don't know if he initiated before the line. Going to outer touch and go 1. Able to get that tires where he needs to be on outer zone 2. And then transitioning to outer zone 3. Good fill out. And you see Nick right there just following his line as he is going through each zone. So the final two outer zones and one inner clip in between. Great job from the drivers here. Looks like the judges have come to a decision pretty rapidly on that. That was a straight initiation. I don't know if he initiated on the line. Man, that's a big mistakes. But you see Nick right there just following him the whole way, sideways the whole time, reading the movements, very deliberate on the transitions, how he's moving the car. So that's a good job. We have Nick to the left, Wreck-It to the right. One for Nick, two for Nick. All right, one for Nick, one for Wreck-It. And Wreck-It gets the win. Wreck-It gets the win. Moves on. Nick, first time chats in the Discord. GG's. We're going to the next battle here. Here we go. Going into this first outer zone. Will Holloway keeping the chase right there as he is going to outer touch and go 1. You see Will Holloway with his livery right there in the RX-7. And Cody doing a good job filling each zone. A little bit of a tire drop on outer zone 3. A lot of input on the wheel from what I'm seeing. Look at Will getting right to the door on the final 3 zones. Oh my God, that dive was insane. Wow. Going on this initiation coming in. Nice, a good initiation. A little shallow line on outer zone 1. Transitioning to outer touch and go 1. Will's dialed in. And man, he dives right into the pocket a little bit. Just kind of reading them. Will's doing a good job doing that. But this transition was phenomenal from Will Holloway. Going in to that inner clip, just right to the door, just screaming the whole time. That was awesome. Now Will Holloway's in the lead. Cody Shank in the chase. See how Will performs here. Cody Shank pulling his own weight. He did get a buy run all the way through, and there was some contact made on the beginning of the run. Supposed to give that lead driver room so he could move, but Will unfazed by that contact a little bit as he's going to outer zone 2. Great job there. Transition. Oh man, he got smoked on outer zone 3 from Cody. Look at this contact here. That's a big no-no when you're talking about drift competitions here. You got Masco in the chat. First time chatting as well. Going through, and then yeah, that Cody just smoked Will on outer zone 3. Big mistakes from Cody. Judges have already come to a decision. Waiting for that board to pop up. And it looks like Will gets 1, 2, and 3. Will moves on to the final 4. And now we're at the final battles of our grade 8. Young versus Tyrese Jackson. And after that, we're going to have the finals battles, which is going to be just back to back to back to back battles to figure out who is crowned here in Obera. Young is in the lead now, coming in with an initiation to the first outer zone. And you have Tyrese holding it down in the chase. Getting a nice angle and mirroring the lead driver as they're going into outer zone 2. Transition to outer zone 3. I'm not too sure what happened there from the chase driver. Going to outer zone 3, but then he's diving right back into the pocket of Young as they're going all the way through, getting a little bit lost in the smoke, a little far back in the pocket, but able to get all the way through the lap. Look at this. You got that initiation to the outer touch and go 1, able to go all the way through. Hitting outer zone 2. Great job there. Transitioning to outer zone 3. Right to angle. Great lead lap. And then Tyrese diving in with that BMW and getting right to the door. And then falling a little bit behind in the pocket. And what I mean by the pocket is there's a sweet spot when you're drifting and chasing. You want to get that front tire to either the front quarter panel, the back side of the front quarter panel, or to the front side of the door of the lead driver. So being far behind the pocket is towards the rear quarter panel. But now we have Young chasing down Tyrese as they're going to outer zone 2. Great fill out there by, oh my goodness, Tyrese doing a good job filling it out. But look at Young Ramirin, able to read him out a little bit shallow in line to keep proximity in the chase, but then diving forward into the pocket and then falling back behind, angling. There's a lot of corrections from the chase driver to keep proximity, but great chase run from Young. Tyrese going all the way through. Great lead lap. Great lead lap from Tyrese with the BMW. And man, he was on rails the whole time. Young was doing a great job. He performed really well. It's just a lot of bobbles in the chase compared to Tyrese's chase. Tyrese was really smooth with his movements. You don't want to surge and be super aggressive in chasing wise when you're chasing down an opponent. But here we go. We got right for Tyrese, Young for Young. And we have 2 for Tyrese, 3 for Tyrese. Great job, Tyrese. He is moving on. And he'll be battling it out with Will Holloway in the final 4. And now we got Masco versus Wreck-It. Masco's in the lead. Wreck-It's in the chase. Masco coming in with a nice initiation, not as deep as he normally is in that first outer zone, but hitting outer touch and go 1. Oh my God, I thought Masco was going to smoke that wall because of the speed he had. Went to outer zone 2, great fill out there, transitioning to outer zone 3, bangers, going all the way through. You got Wreck-It banging up on the door of Masco and going all the way through each zone. Look at the doors, all the way through the final outer zones. Absolutely maniacal from Wreck-It. Wow. That was insane. That was a good run. Only deductions I could see is in the chase. Wreck-It was a little shallower in line from outer zone 1 to outer zone 2 to keep up with Masco. But then after outer zone 3, Wreck-It cleaned it up, dove into the pocket, and just held it there all the way through each zone on that final back portion of Obera. Wow. Good job. Now we have them switching sides. You got Masco chasing down Wreck-It. We'll see how they perform here. And here comes Wreck-It coming in with a nice weight transfer initiation, keeping the same line in that first outer zone with Masco as lead run. Masco was deeper on the track, but look at Masco reeling him in, following him the whole way. Transition is bumper to bumper, a little bit of contact from Masco, but doesn't really upset the driver as they're going through each zone. Masco is super aggressive all the way through. Oh, mercy! Masco getting doors all the way through the track. Wow. Coming in. Great chase from Masco. Go into outer touch and go one. Good fill out. Bang. The great thing about Masco here is he wasn't cheating the line to hold up proximity. He was just staying there. A little bit of a contact. Maybe it was a connection issue or going through. But man, Masco followed his line the whole way. And it was fantastic to see that. This is going to be a game of inches here. Like I explained earlier, you had Masco doing a great lead lap, filling up everything as deep as possible, especially when going from outer touch and go one to outer zone two. He was able to fuse the whole track. You got Wreck-It a little bit, cutting a little bit of line so he could get to outer zone two. A little bit of contact on that transition and didn't really make Wreck-It go offline. But Masco was staying right in the pocket compared to Wreck-It on the chase. Chase-wise, Wreck-It had to cheat the line. He had to be a little bit shallower in line to hold the proximity all the way through. And then all of a sudden, towards the end, that's where he cleaned everything up, following the same line as Masco. It's very tit for tat. And we got it. A judge's decision. Left for Masco, right for Wreck-It, one for Masco, one for Wreck-It. And Masco gets the win. Battling it out for first and second place of the winner of the next battle. And it's going to be Will Holloway versus Tyrese Jackson. And Wreck-It has a chance to still be on the podium. Man, that was a great battle. Good slugfest on that last battle there. And you got Will Holloway warming up the tires. It's just a way for them to, the VDC drivers, they do that to get the tires up to temperature, but also to kind of make sure that all their rig and equipment is working. And that's something that they tend to do. And now we have Will Holloway leading. We've seen him chase throughout the whole bracket first. Now we have him leading first. Let's see how he performs here. Coming in with a nice Scandi flick with that RX-7, getting to that outer zone one. Man, he is absolutely deep in the zone. And look at Tyrese reeling him in. A little bit shallow line, but holding proximity all the way through. The transition right here falls right in line with Will Holloway as he is filling outer zone 3 all the way through, going to outer touch and go 2. Look at Tyrese Jackson sticking it to the door of Will Holloway. A little bit of contact, and man, oh man, that was nice. As they're going all the way through each lap in each zone, look at Will Holloway coming in right to angle. Look at Tyrese, though, able to get right there on the proximity transition. Great. A little bit of shallower angle in the chase from Tyrese, but he is keeping that front tire inside that pocket and following him the whole time. Transition is a little bit delayed from Tyrese, so he gives that RX-7 some room from outer zone 2 to 3, but then transitioning to the outer touch go 2. Man, the aggression from Tyrese in the chase was absolutely bonkers. And now we have the second half of this lap, this slugfest here. Tyrese is going to be leading. Will is going to be chasing. I'm going to see this battle come out. Let's see if Tyrese can knock out the pro. As we're going into that first outer zone. Huge angle from Tyrese. Going to outer zone 1 into outer touch and go 1. As they're going into outer zone 2. Beautiful fill out there. As they're going all the way through and transitioning to outer zone 3. Will Holloway is reeling them in. holding that line. Now this is going to be into the final two zones. Will doing a great job in holding in the proximity and mirroring and matching angle the whole way through. And it looks great. And it looks like the judges are deliberating. Will did a great job mirroring angle all the way through. And this competition, the prize money I was talking about before, definitely want to get a shout out to Fat Asian number 2. Don't know who you are, but you've provided the money for the competitions for the prize money, which is great. Great fill out from the lead. Tyrese did a great job in the lead. Will did a great job in the chase. And this is where it comes a judgment of inches. And you have left for Will, right for Tyrese, 1 for Will, 2 for Will, and 3 for Will. All the way he gets to win. And if you're thinking about a chase, there is no OMTs in these competitions. You have to think about the lead versus lead, chase versus chase. Will had a consistent lead run that made that chase driver have a really good aggressive proximity. And Tyrese had a great lead, but he did miss some zones. It wasn't as consistent, but Will was able to reel in that proximity the whole time. Fantastic battle there, but just because Tyrese loses doesn't mean he is out of the competition. He has this battle here for third place. You have Wreck-It versus Tyrese. Battle for third place. And after this will be battle for second. Yeah, Will's lead was very smooth and consistent compared to Chase. And I was explaining it earlier too, how the battles and getting stuff sorted out. You have the lead versus lead, chase versus chase, and if they're not as consistent and smooth in the chase, and you're just surging and surging and surging, that doesn't look as clean as someone that's smooth and closing in the gap throughout the whole lap. So we're waiting for Tyrese to come in. Pedro, Pet. And we have our battle here. Wreck-It in the lead, Tyrese in the chase. As we're going into that first outer touch and go in the outer zone 1, they do a great job tandeming through. But look at Tyrese Jackson being super aggressive like he was with Will. Oh my God, he almost smokes the door, but able to hold back as they're going to outer zone 3. Going to outer touch and go 2. Beautiful fill out into diving into the inner clip. Great job. Tyrese a little bit shaky, almost over rotates towards the end. Oh my God. That was insane as we're going to this replay here. A little shallow line on outer zone 1, transitioning to outer touch and go 1. That was a little bit of a shaky transition from what I saw. It was a real quick snap, like it was just last minute from what I was seeing. And going to outer zone 2 and 3, great fill out from Wreck-It in the lead. And Tyrese is just reading them, just right in that door as close as possible. But the big mistake at the end of that chase is the huge over rotation from the chase driver on there. But now we have Tyrese in the lead, and we have Wreck-It in the chase as we're going in to the battle for third place here. coming in with a nice initiation. Look at that. Oh my God, that initiation was gangster from the chase driver Wreck-It, getting right to the door, right off the rip. Now he's going to reel in the proximity all the way through outer zone 2. Great fill out from the lead driver Tyrese Jackson, transitioning to outer zone 3, getting close proximity, door to door, transition, bumper to bumper into outer touch and go 2, into diving into the inner clip, a huge surge into the pocket, and then moving back, just giving him room to finish that lap. Doors, baby. Wow. And we have the replay here. The initiation here was a make or break moment. That was insane. The make or break moment was that initiation. Wreck-It needed to get that aggressive posture right off the rip, showing that he's aggressive. And then that transition there, matching angle, going to outer zone 3, transitioning to outer zone 4. It was insane too. This whole track here, the back half was beautifully done from Wreck-It. We have a decision from the judges. You're going to be the winner of this battle, will be the winner for third place. Wreck-It left, Tyrese right. What are we going to do? Wreck-It gets the win, gets third place and podiums on this pop-up competition with ACS Drift. And now we have the battle of Masco versus Will Holloway. And man, oh man, we just saw someone take flight in the background. And man, oh man, this is going to be not only a winner for this competition, but it's the rights for smack talking in the Discord afterwards. These both go back and forth all the way through. Every time they're in the Discord with each other, if Masco wins, Will's never going to hear the end of it. If Will wins, Masco's not going to hear the end of it from Will. So it's great. Now we have people in the chat. Doomsday Reaper yells Tiny. What up, Reaper? Been a minute. You got Maya in the chat as well saying Wreck-It, Wreck-It. Nah, heck yeah. And then call the doc saying take it home for us, mods, Masco. Man. This is intense. I'm pretty sure Masco is like hyped up or probably listening to Despacito in the background, but I don't know. We'll see what he does here. Masco in the lead. Will Holloway in the chase, coming in with a nice initiation. Masco super aggressive with that BMW, but Will Holloway with that RX-7 with his VDC livery, reading Masco. Oh, you see Will Holloway, something different from previous battles. He's a little bit forward in the pocket, going to outer zone 2, but now diving into the pocket, a little bit of a correction from the chase driver on outer zone 3. Now transitioning outer zone touch and go 2, going into inner clip 1. Man, oh man, the super aggressive posture. And that was a cheap shot, Will. Don't you? He pushed him across the line at the end. Oh man. I know what Will's thinking, and at the end, I was more of like, all right, good run, a little high five there. But look at Masco getting right to Ango to outer zone 2. Great fill out, transitioning to outer zone 3, all the way through. A little bit of wavering from Will Holloway in the chase, going to outer touch and go 2. Good fill out as well from Masco. But look at Will right to the door, right to the pocket, and then Will just gives him Will gives him a little nudge. Oh man. There we go. We got Will Holloway now in the lead. Masco in the chase. The winner gets first place. And look at Will Holloway, being very methodical. Each zone he goes through, all the way back, bumper on the wall, all the way through into outer zone 2. Beautiful fill out with that RX-7. Masco diving in. A little bit of aggression, a little contact. That was wheel to wheel. Oh no. Oh no. A huge upset right there at the end of the competition. Maybe pride took over for Masco and he found an opening and just sent Will to Narnia on outer zone 3. And man, look at the huge angle. Transition, bang, and then boop. Oh man. That was a big upset right there. As we're going in The judge is going to look at that. And it looks like maybe a little over ang. I don't know. I don't even know the contact wise. We're going to look here. As we're going here, bang. Great fill out on outer zone 1. And then going to outer zone 2. Let's see if Will made a mistake here. Going from outer zone 2 to 3. He gets more angle. Oh, what happened there? Did he slow down a little bit? Coming in. This is where it comes a battle of inches right here. Going through outer zone 2 is good. Transitioning here. Bang, gets right. Oh, he was to lock. Oh. Now the narrative has switched here. I thought this was going to go to Masco. All right, this was going to go to Will. And now it's looking like it might go to Masco. Now this is a very, very peculiar situation. Yeah, Masco is keeping the same speed all the way through there. Ooh. What do you guys think?
GG's, mates. GG's.
It looks like slide it left for Masco, slide it right for Will. Masco gets 1. Will gets 1. And Masco gets the win and moves on. That was intense. And if you think about it this way, in real world, if you drop a cylinder in the middle of a run or something that your clutch goes out, it's unfortunate. It does still could cost you a win in the middle of a run. If your screen froze, yeah, I get it. That happens. But it's unfortunate. We definitely did a great job here. I want to thank everybody here that's tuning in. Definitely drop by the ACSDrift Discord and hang out. Also, don't be afraid. Check out the giveaway that's pinned on the top of the chat. Get in on it. You have a chance to win. First place, SimMagic Evo Sport Wheelbase. Second place, SimMagic Handbrake. And third place will get gloves. And then we also have a lot of cool things in there. You have the getting started. If you're not familiar with getting into sim drifting, definitely check it out. We definitely I'm pretty sure we do the VODs at the end. I'll talk to the production here to make sure that you guys are checking that out as well. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. And we'll see you guys on the next pop-up competition for ACS Drift.